Hey there. Good evening, everybody. Want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. This is a channel where we talk about prog music mostly, although I talk about just about every other kind of music as well. Anyways, my name is Murph and I am the host of this show. So I'm just going to move my camera down just slightly here. Anyways, we're here to do an episode of new prog albums, the show I do every Thursday, in which I take a prog album released in 2026 and just discuss it. So today we've got probably an unusual selection for me, being as I'm not really a jazz fusion guy at all. And this one is very jazz fusiony and has no vocals at all. And those are usually two strikes against it immediately. However, I guess because of it being the band that it is, I decided you can't just ignore this album. So I'm going to do this album tonight. This is the Soft Machine 13, their newest album, released March 13th, 2026. About 64, almost 65 minutes in length. So way outside of my my wheelhouse, but not as noticeable because the album, I think, was pretty decent for a jazz fusion album, in my opinion. So this was on the Dyad Record CD label and the Tory Float vinyl label. The band includes Theo Travis on sax, flutes, duduk, mellotron, pianos, and electronics, John Etheridge on guitars, Asif Sirkis on drums, Fred Baker on the bass, and also playing on the album, Pete Whitaker with some Hammond organ, and David Allen playing a guitar here. So I'm assuming it says R.I.P. I am assuming that David Allen has passed away. So rest in peace if that is the case. And if not, I apologize for not checking on this before I did it. So we have, of course, no vocals on this album at all. This is primarily a jazz fusion album, although I do find it fairly heavy on the jazz side, but also has that kind of pastoral kind of soft feel to it, the album as well. So it's got a lot of interesting guitar sounds. The sax is pretty dominant on this album as well. Percussion fills are good, but not over dominating. Just filling in there nicely. It does have a little bit of what I would call that kind of jammy feel to it, but just very little. I don't think it's at all a jammy album, does it? That doesn't come to mind when I think of the album as a whole. Definitely very jazzy at times. Lots of really good piano here. Most of the songs are pretty much on the mellow, soft side, which is good. I tend to, if I'm going to listen to jazz fusion, that's type of jazz fusion I tend to like. So there are, I guess, a total of 13 tracks on this album in total, most of them in the 3 to 4 to 5 minute range, a couple tracks longer than that. And I'll kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown of the tracks as we go along. Sorry, there's a kink in my back all of a sudden. Okay, so the opening track called the Lemon Poem Song. This one's about a little over 3 minutes long, maybe closer to 3.5 minutes long. It's got a nice mild opening to it with some very strong guitar soloing as well. It's a little bit mesmerizing, the guitar on this song. I kind of like it quite a bit. And it's got that lots of that classic jazz fusion sound here. The drum fills are very good drum fills. Piano is lovely, gives a nice soft, mellow feel to the song. I didn't mind this song. It was pretty good. For the most part, all of the song rating on here are probably between 5 and about 7. Nothing beyond 7. Like maybe nothing beyond 6.5, and then nothing below 5. There was no tracks that I was like turned right off by at all. Next track out is called Open Road. This one's one of the longer tracks, of almost 7.5 minutes in length. It's got a nice mellow guitar opening, really nice, smooth sounding. The drums are a little bit of a dark feel to them, but they're not terrible. The sax is forward and dominant, but mellow and soft at the same time. So it's a nice. It's forward. You can hear it. It's really well, and it goes on fairly lengthy sax parts here too. It does pick up tempo at points, but it's really catchy. I thought it was a pretty catchy song. The guitar takes over and is a little bit mellow, but very catchy as well, very tastefully done. And then the sax comes back in and kind of dominates a little bit more towards the back part of the song. This was one of the better tracks on the album as well. I found the longer tracks were a little bit better. There wasn't that as much of that meandering that you normally get with some jazz albums where they start out with a kind of a melody and just kind of move all over the place like a snake. And some people really like that. I tend not to be one of those type of people, though. Next song is called 7 Hours. This one's a little over 5 minutes. Nice, low, slow, melodic opening. Keyboard, synthesizer, and percussion in here. The percussion dominates in part with a kind of a little bit of a bitey, raw guitar sound as well. The sax does take over and becomes a little bit chaotic at points, and then also that raw sound going on as well. I like this one. I didn't care for this song as much as some of the other songs on the album. It's kind of almost forgettable to me in some ways. And I apologize to those jazz fusion people who love jazz. I tried to make it clear that this is really not my forte, but you can't not talk about this album. It's from Soft Machine. You got to talk about it. And I kind of actually like the album too, which is kind of different for me. Next up, we have Waltz for Robert, a little over 4 minutes in length. Nice kind of quiet flute here with some percussion. That kind of this opening is a little bit mellow as well. Some soft guitar parts. The song is very avant-garde, I guess is a good word. The flute part is dominant and inventive, very catchy. And nice, mild, soft, mellow track overall. I liked it. It was pretty decent. Now the other part, I'm just going to flip over here. So most of the rest of the tracks are 5s or 6s or in between those two. The next track out is The Longest Night. This is also the longest track, over 13 minutes in length. It starts out with a nice flute. The electronic sound is a little bit on the harsh side here. The percussion is fairly complex. It's a full of mellow, catchy. It's a full-on mellow, catchy track. Guitar is casual yet complex, catchy, interesting sounds throughout the track. I did kind of like the keyboard synthesizer and organ part that was in there as well. Pretty decent song, I think. And even though it's 13 minutes long, it doesn't really feel like that to me. Next is Disappear. This is a song just under 4 minutes in length. Nice, lovely, somber, low-end sound at the beginning. The flute is passive. A nice, relaxing feel. The piano is very good. This is probably my favorite track on the album. It's a lights out, listen in the dark, relaxing song. You know, kind of a little bit. Reminds me a little bit of that Tangerine Dream sound at times, some of that. So it's quite good, actually. Green Books is the next track. This one's a lot harsher. Sounds with a cutting kind of guitar part at the beginning and heavy drum fills. The sax solo is very dominant and pretty forward here. The guitar soloing is complex and fast and lots of little bitty parts that are kind of a little on the bitey side. And the length of the guitar is really goes on for a fairly lengthy period of time and a very jazzy sound to it. Next track is Bolito Ballado, I believe that's how you say it. This is another track that I quite like. Nice soft acoustic guitar intro with some slow, quiet percussion, nothing too dominant, just kind of supporting. There's a hint of keyboards here throughout. Very jazzy feel to this track. Nice, slow, melodic electric guitar part. Yeah, it's really casual, mellow track. Very lovely sounding track, to be honest with you. Then we got some of the shorter tracks coming up here. So you got Pens to the Full mode. This one's just under 3 minutes. Melodic guitar sound, some organ parts here, a little percussion element. Yeah, nice beat tempo track here. Pretty decent track. I didn't mind it. The next one is the Time Station. Another very jazzy track. Nice sax driven with some light guitar parts, solos. Bass is more predominant on this particular track. It's about the same as the Pens to the Full. They're both okay. I didn't fail either song, but they're just okay. I don't mind them. Next up is Which Bridge Did You Cross? It's another good solid track on the album. Nice synthesizer, electronic start, complex percussion, nice sax dominated track. Some almost psychedelic guitar parts here, and that was the part that kind of really caught my attention. So another one of the better songs on the track. Next is Turmoil. This one is that kind of meandering stuff that goes on with some jazz fusion, almost a run on, like like they're jamming, and like feels like a little bit of that jamming feel here too. So this track is a little bit chaotic. Multi-sound, both electronic and some sax and some drums mixed in there. It's got a feeling of a bit of a bitey, heavy distortion part to it as well. The guitar soloing is frantic at times, but really good. The sax solo is complex, distorted, and heavy. He's really forcing the air into his reeds there. It's an okay track. It's only about 5 minutes long. And I think if it was any longer, it might start to grate on me a little bit. But because it was only about 5 minutes, it was pretty decent. And the final track was David's Special Koopa. This is featuring David Allen. Nice keyboard synthesizer sounds throughout the track, kind of like background. And it's pretty much a guitar-driven kind of Eastern, almost Eastern sound at points, I think. I felt it was a little bit Eastern. Maybe it wasn't, but it felt like that. A bit of a, how do you put this? Yeah, it's a little bit of it's guitar dominated track. I don't know much more to say about it. It wasn't one of my favorite tracks. I didn't even rate it, to be honest with you. I didn't think I disliked it, but I didn't really think about it much. Kind of a throw-on track. I know there's people out there in jazz who are going to say I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, and they might be right. I can only tell you how I feel about it. It doesn't mean that that's what it is. So that's the album I did today, Soft Machines 13. I think if you're a jazz fusion person who likes that kind of mellow jazz fusion, and I tend to be, if I'm listening to jazz fusion, that's tend to be what I like, and I think this album fits in that bill quite well. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to make any comments about Soft Machine or the album 13 or anything I've said, you can do that in the comment section. Or if you want to bring up stuff on about the album that you found that you liked, you can do that as well. Just remember, it's just my own opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. And I hope that people get to listen to this album. I think it's quite enjoyable. Take care. Have yourself a good evening, and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.